Okay,
So one thing
but if
lose
Ohio
that,
State loses a game, they're not eliminated from that. And the Pac-10 is much, much stronger than the Big Ten. If you look at bowl records, which I know that's not a absolute judge, in the last 5 years, Pac-10 has a better record than even the SEC. So the Pac-10 is not as weak of a conference as we like to make it.
well, I'll give you that, but let's look at who they lose to when they lose that one
Exactly.
game. Though. I mean, God, last year they were I want to say it was like a 28 to 30 point favorite over Stanford, or was that the year before?
They were 40, and that was 2 or 3 years in 07.
Okay.
I mean, I will say this, I do think Washington, although on paper probably not very good because of their history, but I think that's a program on the rise and it's definitely turning the corner, so I don't think that's as bad.
But that was a very quick
Okay, take away the Stanford loss from USC. Every team they've lost to has ended the year, other than Stanford, and that was a bad loss. I'll give you that. Every other team they've lost to has ended the year in the top 25. It's been a road game, and it's against a rival. Florida last year lost a game, and they ended up still to a team that wasn't as good as them, and they still were able to win a national championship. Now, granted, I think the SEC on the whole is tougher than the Pac-10. I don't want to mistake that, but I think Pete Carroll's crew there in USC is unduly punished because if they lose a game, now, granted, they should win all their games, but you're talking about 18 to 21-year-old kids, and you want them to be consistent enough to win every game. If you look since 2002, people are like, oh, yeah, every game they lose is to an underdog.
Because every game they play is usually an underdog.
How many times have they not been the favorite team?
And you got a point, but I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You know, being over there penalizes them when they lose, but it also helps them get a bunch of wins on that record too.
Because they should run the tables.
It doesn't help them as much as like Ohio State. See, to me, Ohio State, that's a team that benefits from their conference even more because Ohio State, the Big Ten is crap. And
we have to watch Ohio State in the national championship again. I probably won't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, we know they're going to lose. So, and this is why I think, and I don't want to get off on a tangent of should there be a playoff, shouldn't there be a playoff. But the reality is that the Pac-10, I think, even when they're good, they don't get the respect they should as a conference because people don't see their games. The Big Ten plays their games at noon. We watch them as our warm-up to the SEC game, which we then watch and then we go to sleep. And we don't see the Pac-10 game.
Yeah, the East Coast bias definitely comes into play in the rankings. I will tell you that. I can't remember the last Southern Cal game I saw. You just don't see them a lot, and that's just the way it is.
And part of it is their television network. Up until last year, most of their games were played on networks that we can't get very well.
And well, think about it too, dude. Just was it 2-3 years ago? Let's be honest, a 2-loss SEC champion stands a better chance of playing for the national championship than a 1-loss Pac-10 team, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I think USC also, and this is something that's hard to quantify, but they're better than every team in the Pac-10, but they're also every team in the Pac-10 Super Bowl is against USC. That's the game they put on their calendar. That's the game. We've got to win this game. You've heard it said before, USC has 9 rivals in the Pac-10 because everyone is gunning for them. There's no other team that can say that. Stanford, they might have a couple of rivals, but ultimately, teams don't get up for them. USC, they never get anybody's B game. They get everybody's A game every week. So, yeah, they've been favored in every game but 3 in the last 7 years.
And that's a testament to their program. And
they're very good. And I think, what I'm saying is if they're in the SEC, they may have a few more losses, but I think they would have more national championship game appearances. Last year, you can't convince me that they weren't one of the top 2 teams. I think they would have beat Florida in the national championship game. But that's not, I don't want to get involved in that too much. But they were definitely one of the best 2 teams. USC and Florida.
They're definitely a top 5 program every year. I don't argue that. And for the reason you said, they are everybody's Super Bowl. Even their non-conference games. You're looking at Ohio State and Notre Dame. You know they've circled that one on the calendar.
Yeah, they don't cheese monkey out on non-conference games either. They play a tough. I mean, in the last few years, they played Auburn the year before Auburn won the national championship. They played